Hi, my name is Rotasha Atkins-Jones, and I am a recipient of the Whole Food Plant-Based community. During the pandemic, I got in touch, connected with PPMNY, PlantPowered Metro New York, and they have been a great support for me and teaching me about my diet and how my health condition can possibly be improved if I chose to eat whole food plant-based. As a result, I have seen significant health improvements. I am no longer on high blood pressure medication. I am no longer obese. I am no longer have inflammation in my ankles. The migraines that I've had, they're no longer there. And also pre-diabetes, no more pre-diabetic. I will say my energy, my thought process is clear, and this has been an incredible support program. And if you have not tried eating whole food plant-based, I am telling you, it is a game changer, and it will help you go from hopelessness to hopefulness. That's it.
Tasha, you're amazing. And good evening, everybody. Many voices, one mission, health for all. PlantPowered Metro New York's third annual Plantathon celebration continues. My name is Jim Spellos, and I am joining you on a Sunday evening where we are going to talk about vascular health. Through a series of 10 live events, which include 8 online and 2 in person in Manhattan, the Plantathon celebrates the diverse and growing plant-powered health movement in our Metro New York communities and across the country and the globe. Together, we can bring about a healthier, more sustainable future just by eating wholesome plant foods. For those who may not know us, Plant-Powered Metro empowers people to find better health and overcome chronic disease through whole food, plant-based nutrition. One of the most powerful ways to eat that prevents, treats, and can even reverse a wide array of health concerns and conditions. Please share about yourself this evening in the comments so we can learn who's here and where you're joining us from. And as we approach Giving Tuesday, which is the Black Friday for nonprofits, Plant-Powered Metro has made a commitment to give back while asking for you to support our financial mission, which is really, really critical for us. So if you look at the link on the screen, we invite you to donate by texting PPMNY, that's 77669, to the number 44321. Every donation you make today and through the end of December will be matched dollar for dollar up to $100,000, thanks to generous anonymous donors who believe in our work. Now, before we welcome today's 2 guests, we want to give a hearty shout out and thank you to our sponsors. Let's start with Le Botaniste, Dr. Herbivore, California Balsamic, Plant Strong, Vitamix, Forks Over Knives, and Burlap and Barrel. And by the way, at the end of our program, we'll be announcing today's winner of the Plant Strong Deluxe Bundle of Food, video resources, and live coaching. For more information about how to win this prize and others, you can see our official rules, which we've linked in the comments below. So tonight shows something near and dear to my heart, as well as many of you, vascular health and lifestyle choices. And to focus on that, we're going to have 2 amazing doctors providing us with both a presentation and a culinary demo. Let me just bring them both onto the stage right now and introduce Dr. Kim Scheuer and Dr. Colin Zhu from Love Life Telehealth. And both of you give me a second. I'd like to read a quick bio of both of you, and then we can get started. Dr. Kim Scheuer is a board-certified family medicine and lifestyle medicine physician who's practiced in primary care settings for over 20 years in the Aspen, Colorado area. With a passion for lifestyle or for living the lifestyle she prescribes for her patients, she believes patients can prevent, reverse, and slow chronic diseases to live more full, happy, and healthy lives. She specializes in general health and wellness, weight management and food addiction, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, including blood pressure and cholesterol control, and cancer prevention. Dr. Colin Zhu is a double board certified in family practice, osteopathic manipulative treatment, that's OMT, and lifestyle medicine. Passionate about the intersection of medicine, food, and nutrition, Dr. Zhu trained as a chef and health coach at the Natural Gourmet Institute for Health and Culinary Arts and the Institute for Integrative Nutrition following the completion of his medical degree. He's an international speaker, podcast host, and has been featured in several publications as a health and wellness expert. You can follow them both on Instagram. We'll post their Instagram links in the comments in a second. And I want to just say again, thank you and welcome to you both. How are you both doing tonight?
Doing very well. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh
Doing
my
excellent.
gosh.
Doing excellent. Looking forward for this.
Fantastic. We're going to start with Dr. Scheuer first. So I'm going to say goodbye to Dr. Zhu just for a second and to say welcome, Dr. Scheuer. It's great to have you on here. And before you begin, I know you have a mini presentation for us. I'd love to find out why you became a doctor and when did you realize that focusing on lifestyle was such an important and powerful tool for your patients?
So I've always wanted to become a doctor since I was very young. And I knew I would like to play first, did a lot of other things. I became a physician probably in my late 20s after I worked in deaf education and things like that, and traveled around the world. Then I did traditional family practice in Aspen for about 20 years, but halfway in, I realized my mother had had breast cancer when she was 48. I was 47, and I wanted to figure out how to prevent that in myself. Became interested in lifestyle medicine. After doing research and watching Forks Over Knives and reading the China study, changed my life. Then I started using with my patients and changed their lives. And it was a no-brainer at that point. I was just hooked on helping people get healthier, not just bandaging what they needed, their symptoms with medication.
It's so important. So vascular health, was that something that always interested you while you were doing your medical work?
Absolutely. So my grandmother had Alzheimer's, and there were concerns about that, which is a vascular issue, can be a vascular issue, and concerns about that in my family. And vascular medicine is so important. So I have a little presentation I'd love to give to you guys about why vascular health is so important.
Let's do that right now. That'd be fantastic. And let's see if we can get there. And you can just go over to your presentation slides.
I'm going to do that and press play. Can you guys see this?
Oh, we see it perfectly. I'm going to take myself off screen so it's just.
Okay. So my name's Dr. Kim Scheuer. I'm here with one of my colleagues, Dr. Colin Zhu. We actually have another colleague that just joined us, Dr. Carrie Graff for Love Life Telehealth. We're all lifestyle medicine physicians in different fields, and we all love what we do. But we focus on vascular health in so many ways because what is vascular health? It's any condition that affects your blood vessels and your circulatory system. So anything involving your arteries, veins, and capillaries. And it is affected by preventable and modifiable factors, some non-preventable, but it's mostly preventable. And it's what we eat, what we put in our body, how we ingest, how we live, etc. So vessels are so important to us. Vessels, let's talk about the anatomy of a vessel first. A vessel is like a tube, like a garden hose that brings blood through your body. And the most important part of a vessel is the endothelium, which is a one cell layer thick part on the inside of the vessel. And so why is the endothelium so important? It controls vascular relaxation and contraction, so whether your vessels open up and close. It controls clotting for heart attacks and things. It controls immune function. It controls filtration of substances throughout your body. And it's very involved in inflammation and angiogenesis, which is the development of new vessels. So we want to improve endothelial function all the time because we want the best functioning vessels that we can have. And we concentrate on nitric oxide rich foods, which increase the vasodilation, the opening up the vessel, inhibits platelet aggregation, so it stops clots. We'll talk more about the foods that are involved. We want to increase our omega-3 fatty acids with ground flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, walnuts, increase soy products, exercise, so movement's very important, and not smoking and not bringing toxins into our body are important. But why does it matter? Well, the vascular system brings oxygen and nutrients to every single cell in your body. So that's very important to feed our cells. And it also brings carbon dioxide and cellular waste away from your body. So we need that from all the cells, and it's every single cell in your body. And it's integral in the #1 killer of Americans, which is heart disease. So the number one killer of Americans' heart disease is a vascular issue most of the time. And high blood pressure is the number one cause of heart disease in America. So I'm going to just focus on high blood pressure as a vascular issue. But like I said, Alzheimer's, there's so many things that vascular stuff does. So hypertension, it's a significant risk for heart disease, stroke, and kidney disease in Americans. And over 122 million Americans are infected if they're over the age of 20, which is pretty young. It's virtually asymptomatic, so many, many people don't even know they have a problem with high blood pressure, which is hypertension. Hypertension is the measurement, blood pressure is a measurement of the pressure in the vessels, and it's the contraction of the heart and the relaxation of the heart. So a normal contraction should bring the blood pressure in the vessels up to, at the most, 120. Relaxation goes down to 80. Hypertension is when the blood pressure is over 140/90. But pre-hypertension, which is in between the 120 to 140 and the 80 to 90, is very, very common, and damage already begins there. So it's really important for our vascular system to prevent and reverse even pre-hypertension as soon as possible. So the causes, as I said before, for most all vascular stuff is mostly lifestyle choices. And so 90 to 95% of hypertension is due to lifestyle choices. Only 5 to 10% is due to kidney disease, medications. Genetics can be involved, but genetics are also modifiable. And obesity, the SAD diet, which is a standard American diet, a sedentary lifestyle, alcohol use, stress, tobacco, certain drugs that doctors give to you or that you can take on the streets, I mean, both, and sleep apnea contribute to hypertension. So how do we prevent and reverse vascular hypertension and vascular diseases? Well, cutting out all meat, eggs, and dairy decrease hypertension risk by 75%. 75%. And the other issue is hidden salts. The American Heart Association suggests we have 1.5 grams of max of sodium a day, of salt a day. The average American consumes more than double that at 3.5 grams. So if we cut sodium or salt by a half a teaspoon a day, we would prevent 22% of strokes, 16% of fatal heart attacks. But salt is not just what we pour on our food. Salt is hidden. Pizza is the number one source of salt in kids and teens. It's in the cheeses. Breads is the number one source of hidden salt for adults over 50. And for those 20 to 50, it's chicken. Chicken happens to be injected with salt water, often to inflate the weight. So it often has a huge amount of salt in it, almost all of what we need in a day. And when checking packages in a store, always shoot for a package that says less milligrams of sodium than calories. If it's more milligrams in sodium than calories, you shouldn't be eating it. Other ways to prevent and reverse heart disease is make sure you get whole grains. Hibiscus tea helps, ground flax seeds, which we talked about before, beans, split peas, lentils, chickpeas, other legumes, watermelon, eating a lot of watermelon works well. Dark leafy greens is very, very, very important because it's low in sodium, high in potassium, which helps your, and it changes endothelial function, which is important for blood pressure. And nitrate-rich foods, which also improve endothelial function, which causes vasodilation, which causes you to be able to drop your blood pressure and keep it low. And raw versus greater than cooked. And if anybody hasn't read How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger, his chapter on how not to die from blood pressure is great. And it talks about getting rid of sodium and how many lives it would save, how getting rid of processed meats, which everybody should get, for not only that you would save 800,000 lives for vascular reasons, but also for more for cancer reasons. Whole grains, vegetables, seeds, nuts and seeds, and fruits, and you would save millions of lives a year. So the top 10 nitrate-rich foods that you should use that decrease blood pressure and improve endothelial function are arugula, rhubarb, cilantro, and lots of leafy greens. Also beets, and don't forget the beet leaves, which are the beet greens. Other things, make sure you're moving daily. You want to exercise regularly, not smoke, decrease or stop alcohol, work on stress reduction, get restorative sleep. That's really, really important, and maintain an ideal weight. So these are all pillars of lifestyle medicine. We have 6 pillars in the American College of Lifestyle Medicine: nutrition, activity, avoiding toxins, adequate sleep, stress reduction, and relationships. Rochester Lifestyle Medicine added a couple more, which I love, but these all will help in reducing all vascular diseases. But be aware, if you make these lifestyle changes and you are on medications for blood pressure or diabetes, please talk to your doctor or one of us at Love Life Telehealth, Love.Life Telehealth, because you want to get off your medications. You don't want to have side effects of having too much medications, which drop your blood pressure too much. So all of the doctors that I work with, and I work with 10 or 11 amazing physicians, and we all live the lifestyle we prescribe to our patients, and including Dr. Zhu, Colin Zhu, who's a chef doc, who's going to be talking next. So that is my part of the presentation. I can't wait to see what he has to say.
Oh, Dr. Scheuer, thank you so much. And again, the questions that are being asked, please continue to do so in the chat. We'll get to them after the end. Well, let's do a quick transition right now. Dr. Zhu, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Eager to talk to the audience, especially the New York area, because I'm originally from New Jersey. So New Yorkers are my home people. So
fantastic. So with the holidays approaching, it's important, especially in light of what Dr. Scheuer just said, that people know they can eat healthfully and still enjoy the holidays. So I'm just curious, what intrigued you so much about food that you trained as a chef after completing your medical degree?
yeah, no, it's a great question. My mother is a Chinese medical doctor. She's the one that raised me, groomed me, and working in our office for many, many years, I was able to see how she was able to holistically treat someone. And she taught me the values of integrity, authenticity, and compassion mainly. And I really came from a preventative background, just really looking at the body from like proactive approach. Going into school, realized that that was not the case. Going into conventional medicine, things are literally the opposite, which is reactive, and very, very less is taught about diet, food, nutrition, lifestyle, things like that of that nature. Back then, was really, really ill prepared, and I just had to make a lot of detours. So, as you had said in the intro, I went into a culinary school, but not just any culinary school. I went to a health supportive PlantPowered culinary school, and then I got into my certification with health coaching because I needed to understand what it means to have a better rapport relationship, to be someone's advocate in terms of guiding them through their health and wellness journey. And I took all these skill sets and pretty much do what I do now. And I use it to enhance what I do, my medical training, which is family practice. But I specialize in lifestyle and culinary medicine now. So my skill set is really just publicly speaking, demonstrations, workshops, really educating the public at large, because the more informed you are, the better informed decision making that you could have. So I think everyone has the brilliance and potential of taking back their health. They just need to know, what their options are. So
I love the phrase culinary medicine. So it really just speaks volumes about how we love to eat in this movement. So you ready to give us a demo on a couple of things that people will want to have right away?
sure, let's get to it. All right, guys. So you guys will get this later when they send it to you. I gave you guys my ultimate blood pressure optimizer smoothie. And it's no secret, there's no quote unquote superfoods here. A lot of the ingredients that I talk about, actually, Dr. Scheuer has mentioned, because this is where some of the best, literature has told us in terms of where food stands. And nutritional science is a very evolving art and science, and we're always learning as we go. And that's why you're here, to learn. So first things first, since we're kind of running short on time, is to make sure you have a 2-liter capacity blender, very high powered. I use a Vitamix, okay? And we're going to mise en place a few ingredients, okay? Here, the ingredients we're gonna have here is frozen berries. I'm going to do 12 ounces of that. And this is blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, okay? You can easily find this in your wholesale club. I shop at Costco, so you're easily to get great stuff like this, very at the cheap, because it's large quantities and they're picked at peak, and it's fresh. You don't have to worry about it being perishable, because you just set it in the fridge. Up to 30–40% of Americans throw their food away, not just us consumers, but also in terms of manufacturing and processing. And why this is an issue, because it contributes to 8% of greenhouse gases. And so, if we can do our part to not waste food, that would be best. We're going to do berries. We're also going to be doing beets as well. Beets, there are so many great things. I have some beets here. I'm just trying not to like drip anything because they're very potent in terms of coloring. Beets is great. If you read the chapter for Dr. Greger in his book, I highly recommend that you get it. We talk about nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is basically the garage opener to your garage. It helps a blood vessel to just open, right? And a lot of vegetables and fruits have this, especially dark leafy greens like Dr. Scheuer has mentioned. We're going to be using arugula. Okay, arugula has 4 times the amount of nitric oxide, nitrates, I should say, than beets. I'm selecting arugula and beets because of how it could go in terms of a flavor profile for a smoothie. Okay, I don't want to be throwing like Swiss chard or other types of vegetables, because that just doesn't make sense for a smoothie. We're going to be throwing cilantro in. We're going to be putting bananas. We're going to be putting apples. We're going to be putting garlic and ginger. That's usually the base for my smoothies that I do at home, just to make it smooth, just to make it a little bit naturally sweet. Garlic, because it has natural, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-infectious properties, super, super healthy. Ginger, in Chinese medicine, ginger is a warming spice. So when you have a lot of raw ingredients here, it's very harsh for the body. It produces a huge diuretic effect. And, it's that rawness is counteracted by ginger. So we use that as a warming spice. And it's also very good for, your overall digestive function. And we're going to be throwing hibiscus tea in there. I've already brewed some hibiscus tea over there already. And then also flax seeds. Flax seeds are great, okay? It's one of my favorite sources for omegas. And it's able to drop 15 points systolically and 7 points diastolically when you're having a few tablespoons. All of this, guys, it's really, really important that we, if you source anything from plants, the biggest thing is that you want to go diversity. You want to go as diverse as possible, because not only are you, dropping that inflammation, but you're also increasing your nutrients in your body. So here we go. We're going to put this into the Vitamix. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. I like to use lemons for this, because it helps to prevent oxidation. I like to use the actual whole peel in it, because there's a lot of nutrients that is lost when you're actually throwing the peels away. So I actually throw the entire peels because a lot of the vitamin C is actually stuck in the peel. We're going to be using bananas here just to make it smooth, because it is a smoothie, right? So, and then we're going to be using I'm going to use a Honeycrisp apple. It's one of my favorite apples. I make a great, dessert out of this. I'm going to be coring everything. Guys, do yourself a favor. Go to a pharmacy. Go to your doctor's office. Go to someplace to get your blood pressure checked, because back in the day, it's we call it the silent killer, and it is the number one risk factor in terms of heart disease, aneurysms, kidney issues, you name it, strokes. Okay. The biggest thing you can do for yourself. And a lot of it is outside your household. What we teach in my workshops is that, everything, you know what goes into your food by preparing food in your kitchen. When you're doing outside of the household, you're outsourcing your food. And if you think about it, when you're outsourcing your food, are they paying attention to your food? Are they paying attention to your health? No, they're paying attention to the bottom line because they're trying to make a buck. I don't blame them. It's your job to look after your health. We're just here to assist you and to be a guidepost. So your job is to make sure what goes into your plates, because it's very, very important, because it does two things. If you take nothing else from my talks, it's, what you need to understand is that food, when things that you put into your mouth, either feeds disease or it enhances your health. Okay. So very, very important. And I leave you with a quote. Someone much wiser than me said this, that, in order to heal someone, they have to be willing to give up what makes them sick to begin with, right? So a lot of times we are groomed by society, family, community, cultural traditions, right? To eat and live in a certain way. I think it's always important to, have a raised eye, be skeptical, question everything, and then say to yourself, is this important for my overall physical, emotional, mental health, right? So just because you've been doing it for generations does not mean it's healthy, for you. So I love, my favorite things is when, oh, doc, this has been, running in my family, and, not to be, blunt, but, I think, it's your family doesn't run at all. So it's really the lifestyle that we have to choose. It's really the core behavior habits. So we have put in the apples, garlic, ginger, bananas. We have lemon here. We have berries. We're going to throw in some ground flaxseed. I'm going to put in around 2 tablespoons. I like to eyeball this, so I'm not really, there you go. If you want more of an omega-3 kick, you can put chia seeds, you can put hemp seeds, you can put walnuts. That's what I like to do as well. Watermelon. Dr. Scheuer has talked about watermelon. That has great effects for the blood pressure as well. So I already have some cut up watermelon here already, okay? And we're gonna put some arugula. So these are already, washed. So we just put this in here like this. The major things that you need to pay attention to is what Dr. Scheuer has already said, the hidden sources of salt, right? A lot of the cases, it's going to be outside of your household. And yes, table salt can contribute, not as much as what you're going to find out the doors, right? So, and what we've known from modernization of food since the 70s is that at any given point, we're effectively able to contribute 4,000 calories, 4,000 calories in general for every man, woman, and child, in America. So we got to be super, super careful in terms of what goes into our body. Last ingredient here is going to be our beets, okay? So we're going to throw beets here as well. Beets is great. Just make sure that, when you're consuming beets, do not freak out if your poop and pee becomes pink, right? It's very important that you know that and don't freak out. It's not blood. So here, what I like to do is just kind of add the remaining thing, which is hibiscus tea. Look at this beautiful, you're not going to see it, but hibiscus tea has actually been studied in head-to-head studies against ACE inhibitors, which is a blood pressure medication, and it actually performs just as well. In order to have like actually good cup, you need to have at least 5 bags, okay? So in order to have like a good cup every morning. So we have the hibiscus tea. We're gonna fill the remaining ones with water here. And it's important to do at least 3/4 of it so you don't burn out. Always make sure that you have, liquid at the bottom, okay? So we're gonna put the top of this here. And also, when it's important to hydrate, females need 9 cups, men need 13 cups of water, right? Just also know that you can eat your water as well, all right? That's just what's great about, smoothies. I recommend smoothies as opposed to, juicing, because you lose a lot of fiber if you're juicing it. 97% of Americans are deficient in fiber. It's pretty much the essential, nutrient that we don't talk about. We're obsessed with, protein. I don't know about you, Dr. Kim, but I've never diagnosed someone with protein deficiency. So we need to talk about fiber, fiber, fiber. So we're going to do that. I'm going to put this over here.
I agree with you completely.
I'm going to set you on mute as I blend.
Well, that's on mute. Actually, a question for you, Dr. Scheuer, about
Sure.
high blood pressure, and in particular, white coat syndrome. You know, is it real? Is this something you see with people coming to your office, and how can people get around the uncertainty of the blood pressure numbers?
That's absolutely, I see it quite a bit. But people with white coat syndrome can end up with blood pressure problems in the future. One of the ways to do it is actually check a 24-hour blood pressure monitor. So you check for the whole 24 hours and they wear it for 24 hours. And then I can see what's happening at night when you're sleeping, during the day, when you're stressed, all different times, and see how your blood pressure varies. And that helps me really truly diagnose a hypertensive issue.
Home cuffs are good too, though, for people just to have regular home cuffs to take their blood pressure.
Home cuffs are good. You might want to coordinate it with your doctor's office, but they are actually quite good. So I would do that. I prefer the ones that go on your arm rather than your wrist.
Gotcha. And again, you can get those at a pharmacy store.
Yep.
Easy,
Never get the
I know.
cheapest, don't get the most expensive.
Yep. Good. And while we're talking, I see a delicious smoothie being poured. Dr. Zhu, how does it taste?
Well, I haven't tasted it yet. I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
Oh my God, I want it.
Yeah, he made it up for all of us. It's clear.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Just come on over. It tastes great. So it actually nicely balances out, with the berries, the apples, and the banana and the lemon. Okay. If you want to garnish this to make this for a party, just put a mint leaf over there as well. So because the arugula already has bitterness to it, so you can offset it by a couple of other sweeter items. You don't need to do any type of sweetener. Guys, this is a great way to kind of hydrate, as well as getting yourself off of energy drinks and soda and pop and all the stuff that is made in a lab. I think one of my favorite experiments growing up was we poured a soda over a penny, and it turned into the color of the Statue of Liberty. So if you think about that, just imagine what it does to your digestive tract. So,
and your blood
Amazing.
vessels.
So we've gotten a couple of questions, not surprisingly, about blood pressure. And a lot of people are saying that they eat a low-fat, whole food, plant-based, no salt diet. They buy everything that's whole, that's clean, just one ingredient, but they still have high blood pressure. What else can they do? Or perhaps what foods can they eat more of? I know, Dr. Zhu, you mentioned the flax and a lot of the omega-3. So what would be both of your suggestions for that?
So one of the things that you can do is have steamed green leafy vegetables multiple times a day. But I wouldn't just concentrate on the food. You have to look at the stress level that you're under. Are you exercising? Things like that. But we obviously need to make sure you don't have kidney issues or some other issues. And again, we are physicians too. So if you're doing all you can do, sometimes medications are needed.
Yeah, I think, to add on what Dr. Kim says, it's not just about, food. We look at everything that's insulting the body. You look at alcohol, you look at caffeine, you look at smoking levels, you look at any past drug use, right? Stress levels. Are you getting enough sleep, right? So many different things. And also we live in a toxic world. Our oceans are filled and laden with heavy metals and plastics and trash, right? Trash to the size of 2 states of Texas, right? We don't know what that has the effect on our bodies, but with the awareness and consciousness that, hey, there's a lot of things that are just really like invading our body. If you think about your body like an ecosystem, it's very important to have that in a certain balance. So yes, food is very important, and I highly recommend that you optimize it. We do the heavy lifting in terms of finding the puzzle pieces and figure out what connects with what.
Perfect. We've had a few questions. If you've registered for any of the Plantathon live streams, you'll be receiving the recipe from tonight and throughout the series. And if you hadn't, come back to the YouTube video description. We'll be posting it there as well. One last question. I know we've gone a little bit over time, and we really appreciate both of your time tonight. But we're asking all of our guests this final question, and that is if you can share only one piece of information with anyone who's hesitant about moving forward toward a whole food plant-based lifestyle, what would that be?
So I would start with just starting, adding in healthy foods, add an apple a day to keep the doctor away, add some things in. And the more you add in, like I actually started with what Dr. Zhu did. I spent a month just adding a green smoothie or a red smoothie every day. And it changed my palate and it was wonderful. So it gave me the hypernutrient that I needed. And so just start with adding something every day that's healthy.
I think what's interesting is that, as a capitalistic society, we are taught to just build up wealth. And throughout my experiences and everything that I've seen personally and professionally, you tend to see people use their wealth that they built up to buy back health, right? And so if we've learned anything from the pandemic, it's that it doesn't matter if you're a homeless person on the street or if you're a billionaire CEO. If you do not prioritize your health, it's going to stop you in your tracks. So just, if you're not used to just self-caring yourself, think about your loved ones, right? You're kind of the product of the 5 or 6 people around you, right? You inevitably affect someone else, whether you realize it or not. So think about your loved ones, think about your friends, think about your coworkers, think about the people and the circles of influences that you have intertwined with you. So the better you prioritize not just your physical health, but also emotional, mental health, then you can be the best that you can be. And so you can reach your goals and dreams and aspirations. So because you don't really have anything that's stopping you, right? So the power's in your hands.
That's a perfect way to end the evening. The power is in everybody's hands. And at this point, Dr. Scheuer, Dr. Zhu, so much thanks for taking the time tonight for sharing your wisdom here. And want to make sure that we get people to know you can contact and follow Dr. Zhu. It's at TheChefDoc, if I'm correct, on Instagram.
Yep. I'm on all social media platforms. TheChefDoc is the main handle.
And Dr. Scheuer, Dr. Kim Scheuer, I believe you're on Instagram, maybe not with all the fancy recipes that Dr. Zhu is doing, but with great advice nonetheless, correct?
Yes, and you can also find us at love.life telehealth if you need to talk to a doctor and your local doctor isn't focusing on your health, your whole health. We can
They're
do
not.
that for you.
Just come over.
You'll take
Just come
people
over.
from out of state, from different places around the country to be able to, on a telemedicine basis, look at them and take care of them.
We cover all 50 states and DC. We can see people internationally. So we have doctors in every state. And if you come to one of our states, say, I'm not in one of the states, but Dr. Zhu is, that's great, see him. Or sometimes we overlap and you can look at our website and see who fits with you more. But if you come to one of us, if we have questions, we actually we talk to each other all the time and work together to help patients. So.
Yeah, so people are getting the benefit of a dozen great doctors as opposed to just one. That's amazing. Yeah. Dr. Scheuer, Dr. Zhu, our thanks so much. We really appreciate you taking the time tonight. We have a couple of housekeeping things to take care of because now he brings us to our live giveaway. If you've made a donation to PlantPowered Metro in the past few weeks, or if you've registered for any Plantathon event, then you'd be entered to win one of 8 grand prizes from Plant Strong. Pretty amazing stuff. It includes a deluxe pantry bundle, kitchen rescue video library, 2 months of weekly live group coaching, and 5 years of plant stock recordings, all of which exceeds $1,700 in value. And tonight, our winner is Harry Gannon from Reno, Nevada. Congratulations, Carrie. Our team will be in touch with you in the next few days for you to be able to claim your prize. I know you're going to be so fortunate. So, you still have time to win more prizes. All you need to do is donate to our Plantathon campaign or register for a Plantathon event with or without a donation. Then you'll be entered to win one of our upcoming Plant Strong bundles, as well as Vitamix High Speed Blender, 6-pack of spices from Burlap and Barrel, a set of Forks and Knives magazines, and enrollment for 2 people in our 21-day PlantPowered Jumpstart, where Tasha had mentioned that during the testimonial at the beginning. The next one starts in January 24. The winners are being chosen in 4 rounds throughout the Plantathon series, with the final round announced at our culmination event in the Garment District in Manhattan, featuring plant-based podcaster Chuck Carroll on November 28th. And you don't have to be present to win, but you can sign up in the link we've put in the comments to join us in person. Every day, and it's really important for people to know this, PlantPowered Metro New York isn't demonstrating the power of plant-based nutrition in community health through cooking classes, presentations, market tours, jumpstart programs, and so many other forums that offer hope, practical advice, and skill building to our diverse residents. Since all donations are being matched up to $100,000, please don't hold back. We need everyone to pitch in. Gifts of all sizes are welcome. You can donate online. Let's make sure that we get right back in here one more time. The donation link that is there. Donate online, donate by text, follow the instructions on the screen, and you won't be sad that you've done that. And another round of thanks, of course, for our sponsors for the evening. We are so appreciative of them. The Botaniste, Dr. Herbivore, California Balsamic, Vitamix, Forks Over Knives, Plant Strong, Burlap and Barrel all have done amazing, amazing donation work for us. And we have exciting stuff happening tomorrow. So just want to make sure it's on tap. Tomorrow we have our second Spanish feature featuring Drs. Marcela Sandoval and Dr. Francisca Soto Aguilar discussing lifestyle medicine in the Latino communities. And then on Tuesday night, if that's not enough, we have Chef AJ coming on. That's right, for an amazing, incredibly healthy holiday dish. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel to get reminders when we go live every evening at 7 p.m. during the Plantathon. On behalf of everyone here at PlantPowered Metro New York, we are so fortunate to be able to be with you once again to share all this great information from our 2 doctors tonight. We wish you optimal health. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night back on the Plantathon here at PlantPowered Metro New York. Good night, everybody.